The long-awaited video is here. I've been promising this video on how to get your credit score to 750 to 800 and how to settle debts for a very long time for my American audience. As you guys know, my background is in finance and I've worked directly with helping people specifically fix their credit, financial plan, to make big purchases, etc. Especially with my Haitian community, it was always a pleasure for me to teach my Haitians coming in from Haiti. You know, they don't know nothing about credit because in Haiti we don't have a credit system. I think it's just an American thing, but it's a very near and dear topic to me because a lot of people just don't know how much credit affects them, and it limits a lot of people that have great potential and all they are lacking is the knowledge. So get your pen and paper. I'm about to be very detailed with this video and help you guys. If this helps you, you can leave a thumbs up and you can share it with a friend if it helps them also. But first, hey friend, welcome to my channel, Creating Elude Mental Gems. This channel is dedicated to leveling up in all areas of your life. So let us learn together, read together, but most importantly, grow together. Without further ado, let's get into this video. Let's start with number one, okay? The number one way to get your credit to 750 to 800 is to pay your bills on time consistently. We're gonna start with the obvious first, okay? Payment history is so crucial. It makes up 35% of your FICO score. It's the easiest way for lenders to see if they can trust you or not. If you're ever late on a payment, don't just let it go until you're ready to pay. Call the lenders or the companies and ask for extended time. They won't report it when approved, okay? Also, bargain with them. Closed mouths do not get fed. Say, hey, I have a history of great payments, but I stumbled on a bad month. Can I get an extension so that it doesn't affect my payment history with you guys? And what I mean by that, multiple times, I've even in college, I've had those situations where I missed a payment or so on something, and then I've never had a collection item, right? Never. And the reason why that was, instead of letting it just go into delinquent, a lot of us, we get so stressed by debt that we just don't call to see what services they have to help me actually pay this off, whether it's a credit card, whether it's medical. There's people that's willing to work with you. You just have to ask. Your closed mouth is not going to get fed. So what I would do is I would call, if I know I'm going to be more than 30 days late, I'd call, you know, very professional. Hey, my history has been great with you guys. I really don't want to ruin that. Or even if your history has not been the best, you can start off with saying, I know my payment history has not been the best with you guys, but I would love to work on that. Is there any way that I can get an extension or see, because I've stumbled upon some hard times and it's just not working with me. Whether it's you have to change the date, a lot of people don't know that they can change their payment dates. You can call your car lender and change your payment dates for a lot of your debts. You can change it to dates that will be better for you versus trying to cram everything on the first of the month. Maybe you'll have more money on this time and maybe you should switch things around. Please be mindful of your payments and don't just neglect them if you're late. Don't just be like, whatever, deal with it later, because I promise you it's gonna hurt your score. Number two is credit card balances must be low. Credit utilization is the second most influential credit score factor. For example, if you have $1,000 balance on a credit card with $4,000 limit, like you have $4,000 on it, but you owe $1,000, you have a credit utilization ratio of 25%. Keeping your credit utilization ratio under 30%, I like to say 25% is a sweet spot. Consumers with a credit score of at least 800, they usually have an average utilization rate of 11.5%, right? I'd say 20, try to keep it under 10 per month, right? The best way to use credit cards is for basic things. Like if you're going to put gas anyways to build your credit, If you're going to get gas anyways, might as well swipe your credit card and then take that money you were gonna pay to pay it right off. The more the credit card companies see that you do that and you're keeping the payments up, you're actually using the card, because a lot of people get credit cards and they don't use it. They just let it sit there. That's not going to help build your credit. And a lot of companies will cut off your card. Like they will shut it down for inactivity, right? And especially if you have a huge balance, like some people get a credit card, they put a huge balance on it and they're paying the bare minimum for like 20 years and they're never using it, they will cut off your card. Use it a little, pay a little. Your credit card limit will increase, but always make sure at the end of the month, you never owe more than 25%. That affects your credit card history major. It's the second major thing, okay? Because the way the lenders see it is, oh, this card company gave you $20,000 and you used up 18,000 of it consistently every month. You have owed at least 18,000 of it. That's crazy to them. It's like you used the most of the credit card. So it's a little risky to qualify you for anything else because what if you use it all up and then you just keep paying the bare minimum to us forever? We're stuck with a debt, although interest rate for them, you're always going to end up paying more, but it's not good for you and it's not good for them. Third is credit history makes up 15% of your score. Credit scoring models may factor in the age of your oldest account, the newest account, and the average of all of your accounts. So the way credit history works is that how many accounts do you have open? Based on how many accounts you have open, how long have they been opened? Usually most people's longest history going to be student loans if you went to college, or medical bills, cars, house, major things. It's how long have you had these accounts open? Don't keep closing accounts because your oldest account increases your credit age. What hurts your credit score is when you keep getting new accounts. It lowers your credit history age. Although it's only 15% of your score, 15% is still quite a lot, right? You don't want to keep adding a new card every year. That's not going to help your age. Like, get all the cards you need and leave it alone and wait, relax. Stop getting new cards, okay? Number 4 is avoid hard inquiries when at the store. Okay, if you're at Target, somewhere like that, they ask you to sign up for these cards. They will pull up your credit. And every time your credit is pulled, your credit score drops by 5 points. So imagine having like 10 hard inquiries. That's like 50 points. And it takes 2 years to fall off your credit. Places that do this stuff like Target, even if you're at Walmart, they ask you to sign up for this stuff, credit cards, Sephora, all of them. They pull up your credit. And those hard inquiries, every time they pull up your credit, is 5 points. And it stays on your credit for 2 years. 2 years. Some people, you'll be surprised, will have like 20, 30. And I'm like, what are you doing? Especially when you're looking to buy a car. Every dealership you go to will pull up your credit. When you're looking for a house, you keep going to agent. Every time they will pull up your credit. It's best to just really know what car you want. Settle, like okay, this is the car I want. This is the dealership I want for, before you be like, okay, you could pull up my credit, versus shopping, hopping, your credit getting lower, and your rates are gonna suck, okay? Number 5 is avoid collections. It's always better to settle a debt than to ignore it and let it go to collections. Most companies have programs available to help you pay off the debt. It's in their best interest to get money from you for the debt, so they will do whatever they can to get some type of payment. Don't think that when a company purchases your debt from another company, they just plan to have it sitting there. They're losing money. So even if they get $10 from you, $20, something is better than nothing for these companies, right? So they usually are more eager to settle the debt for you or have programs available. Let's get into how to settle the debt for a fraction of the cost for people that's like, okay, well, how do I settle the debt? Okay. Number 1 is call the companies first and explain your situation. If you owe money for a company that just sent you to collection, they have a number, most likely, that you can look up, freecreditreport.com, and get your credit report for free, or Credit Karma. You're welcome if you didn't know that, right? They will have the company's information there that you can give them a call and be like, hey, I can't pay the full amount. I am going through some hard times, but I want to settle this in a way that doesn't leave me in a deficit for my basic needs, okay? They will give you what options they have, but rule of thumb, tell them first how much you have in your budget to pay the bill. Don't let them tell you first. A lot of people make that mistake. You don't let them tell you, oh, okay, all right, you don't have enough, so we'll settle it for you for $2,000, because usually once the person tells you $2,000, they're not gonna ball down, or they're not gonna go lower than that for you, rarely. You start off saying, things been hard for me. I want to be able to pay this, but I still want to survive the month, or survive, but I don't want this to be looming over me or looming over you guys. But if your debt is like $2,000, you say, I only have like $500 to pay. Always start off way lower than what you actually have. Say you only have $1,000 to pay off this debt and they're asking you to pay $2,000, right? Start off with 500, then the person will be like, oh, let me see. And then they'll probably agree to the 500, or be like, okay, 1,000 or something, some figure that's like 700-800, where you end up paying less, right? Sometimes that's not for every company. There are companies that will not negotiate with you. They'll probably tell you, oh, you only have this much. Okay, since you only have this much as your budget, let's split it into 6 months. But splitting it into 6 months after a settlement, like they'll settle it for you, say it's 2,000, they'll settle it for 1,000, and they'll be like, okay, we're settle it for you for 1,000, but you have to do split payments into 6 months for that 1,000. That's better than doing split payments for $2,000, right? So any way is a better option. Number 2 is some companies you can't just call and bargain. You may need to write a letter. So start your letter with a date that you're sending it at the top with your name and address as well as phone number. And why it's important to put the date, because companies have 30 days to respond to you in America. All of the credit bureaus have 30 days to respond to you, okay? Once you have the date at the top, they know what date is received. And if in 30 days you didn't receive a letter, they know they're going to have to remove that off your, because what the credit report companies do, say for Experian, you write a letter to Experian and not just the company. You write the letter to Experian saying, hey, I'm disputing this. This is a dispute, not a settlement, but I'm disputing this account for this charge that I got. I don't know where it came from. That's not mine, or I don't owe this, or maybe I paid this. If it's truthful, of course, I'm not actually out to go lie. What Experian does when they get your letter, they will send out the letter and a request to the company to verify that, hey, this debt is for this person, they didn't owe this. Now, if that company cannot verify within that specific 30 days time that we're talking about, since you've sent the letter, they have to remove it from the report. They failed to provide the receipts, okay? And most companies, they probably purchased your debt from someone else and they don't have the receipts to prove, right? A lot of people get their collections removed that way, because if a company, a debt company went and purchased your debt, and people do that in America. If you're not from America, all this sound like foreign language, okay? But they'll purchase your debt from, say, Verizon. There's a company, I don't know, Financial Inc. that takes your debt from Verizon. You owe $400. Now they might add a little something on it just because they purchased it. Now it's $500 that you're gonna owe, whatever. They probably didn't take all the necessary information to prove that you owe this debt to provide to Experian, you know, so they're just gonna remove it for you. So it's always best to dispute before trying to settle. Settlement is kind of like the second step of the program, right? Then you add the company name that you're writing to at the top of the letter also, as well as the account number for the debt that you're disputing. You can find all of this, the account number, all of this from freecreditreport.com. You put in your information, they pull up your credit report for you for free. You will see the account information. That is very important because it's specific to your account, and you want to have that in a letter so they can easily find out. A lot of people will write letters with just their name. Also put your social security, the last 4 digits of your social security on the letter, not all of it, but you'll put your last 4 digits as well as the account number, the date, all of those information, date it was open, date it was closed, whatever, the debt amount you owe. Put as much information as possible, because if you write the letter and they can't find your debt, it was pointless. To have the account number at the top, you formally write to the company explaining your financial circumstances as to why you weren't able to make payments. Please take accountability and show good faith that you're trying to rectify the situation. There's no space for arrogance or blaming in those letters, because you are at their mercy. Even a credit repair specialist can't do much for you if the company doesn't want to remove the debt. Explain to them your budget, settle, and if they are willing to work with you, then great. If they're not, we just have to find another way, okay? Utilize pathos to tug at their emotions, because it will be a human reading your letter. If you keep that in mind, then write humanely and with sincerity, and you should be good. It's that simple. It's really that simple. It really is that simple. You're writing to a human being, and if you're writing to a human being, you want to appeal to that human being's emotions, right? So as you're writing your settlement letter, write like you're speaking to a friend. Don't blame, oh, you guys raised up the prices and then I couldn't, da-da-da. Don't do that, because they might just roll their eyes and not, but be like, I'm sorry, this just happened. I don't know how it got this bad for me financially. The sobbier the story, the better. But again, I'm not asking you guys to lie, you know, but use emotion to settle the debt. That's one way it works. Another thing also is be strategic on what type of credit cards you get with interest rates. And if you cannot get credit cards, the topic of credit is so vast that I'd rather you guys write down your questions below in terms of credit. And that way I can make videos explaining more into parts on how to deal with it. From if you have no credit score at all and you're in high school and you're about to go to college and you want to qualify for an apartment, that's a whole different video on how to get started with building your credit report to even get to the point to have 700 to 800 scores. So if you want a video like that, comment below. I'll work on that for you guys if enough people is interested in it. But it's just so many layers to credit, but it's an art, okay? And the minute you learn how to utilize this, and it'll just be a breeze for you. This is all I have for this video. Comment below other credit-based videos or financial-based videos you guys would like, and comment below if this was helpful. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in.